Good. It's a
Jai Hind,
fair.
Namaskar, and welcome to Dev Talks. I have with me Lieutenant General Dushyant Singh, who's going to tell us the biggest question about Pakistan. क्या पाकिस्तान को अपनी आर्मी रिड्यूस करनी पड़ेगी? What will happen? What is the future of the Pakistani army? The biggest question in Pakistan, and this is something not a dream of mine or the dream of actually India, but it is a reality that Pakistan might just face. श्रीलंका में जो हुआ उसके बाद श्रीलंका has had to remove and reduce their army. IMF की तरफ से कुछ चीजें बोली गई हैं कि भाई अपने डिफेंस एक्सपेंडिचर्स प्लीज रिड्यूस. So let's see and analyze. Sir, good evening and welcome to the show, sir.
Good evening, Adi, and good to be back again with you and discussing the most trending topic of the region, at least, if not of the world. Yeah, it's quite interesting. The IMF conditions are very, very harsh, and you saw that in the way Shahbaz Sharif made the statement that with a very heavy heart he has had to accept all the IMF conditions. I think that speaks of his helplessness, not only his. I would now put that even the Pakistan Army generals are, squirting in their chairs, what to do. Because I don't see any statements coming from anywhere. Where is
Hmm.
Asif Munir? A question.
Big questions है. सब लोग पूछ रहे हैं ये तो सवाल actually. Lot of Pakistanis are also asking this question. यार हमारा नया नवेला चमकता हुआ चीफ कहाँ है?
सऊदी अरेबिया गया था, वहां से निराश होकर वापस आया है एंड लेट अस सी कि वो और कितना निराश होगा या और कितना उसको हाउ मच विल ही बी प्रेशर्ड. यू सी द IMF has laid two major conditions which are directly affecting the army. I won't say even the armed forces, because for me the air force and the navy of the Pakistan army armed forces don't exist virtually. It's the command of his majesty's voice Asif Munir which prevails, irrespective of who's heading the air or the naval mahakma. So first condition is, of course, they have to reduce their army. Obviously, a country which is facing a debt crisis of the highest magnitude. 30 billion is just the debt of China.
China,
Just,
sir.
and in addition, they have to pay 1.1 billion for electricity, which the Chinese have produced and they have sold it, and now they don't have the money to buy it also. So Pakistan is in darkness. Uh, Add to it about 10 billion of the Saudi Arabia. Add to it 3 billion only worth of 21 days worth of imports left, I think, for as far as foreign exchange goes as of today. The rupee is at 275 a dollar. The petrol is at 255. Diesel is at 265. My God, if this was happening across here, the entire country of ours would be up in arms.
Absolutely.
And look at that country, they are still talking of एक हाथ में कुरान और दूसरे हाथ में
And
एटम बम और स्वीडन पे हमला कर दो.
उनका प्रायोरिटी सर कहाँ है?
It is not, and it was not a one-off statement. It was a Maulana of Labak party which got 11% vote in the elections.
तहरीक लबाक है सर.
Tariq Labak, 11% is a huge, huge chunk. In India, you have national parties getting 5%, 6% votes and still commanding so much of clout. Here is a guy who's got 11% vote. There was a massive lead in his meeting where he made this statement. I feel the two conditions which are that first reduce your defense budget. It is very very required. 4.5% of the GDP you're giving it to defense just to catch up with India. I think if they are not getting sense, IMF is giving them some sense. That is one. The second condition is they have told all elites to declare their assets, including Pakistan army officers. And here is the real catch. You see, so-called the corruption which was going around in high places. That is a condition which is very, very disturbing for the Pakistani army. And I think they have no choice. As of today, they have no choice. I shall cover more about it later, why they have no choice.
Sir, indeed, actually, one of the biggest things which is the jhatka is the statement that came through. Shahbaz Sharif ने जो statement दिया था कल, कि
Yeah,
it is unbelievable and unbearable circumstances के अंदर हमको ये करना पड़ रहा है and all that stuff. That's the reason I got the hint. I said, यार ये unbearable तो इनके पाकिस्तान में there's only one thing. पाकिस्तान में unbearable मतलब आर्मी. बाकी
बिल्कुल
सब कुछ को क्या फर्क पड़ता है? आई मीन जो मर्जी हो, पाकिस्तान में अनबेरेबल तो एक ही चीज है, अगर आर्मी को कुछ टच कर रहा है तो वो बेरेबल नहीं होगा किसी को.
बिल्कुल.
वो दैट्स वेयर आई गॉट द
तो
थॉट कि यार ये श्रीलंका वे.
तो वही टच हो गया, वही टच
इस
हो गया है.
हाँ सर.
एंड आई टेल यू कैसे टच हुआ है. China, who are the countries which can bail out Pakistan? China, Saudi Arabia, UAE combined, Turkey, Europe and US. अब इनको बार बार से देख लेते हैं. Let's see each one of them one by one. China itself in a shitty position, 3.5% or lesser growth, likely to increase next year. Non-performing assets in the country. People are living in unfinished houses. They are not willing to pay the money to the builders because they're not very sure whether these assets will be completed by them. A country which goes through housing crisis, that is the first indication that that country is going to see a severe economic crisis in the future. That's the condition for China. So obviously and rightly so, they have pulled back their hand. Where are they taking their attention to? Afghanistan. They are signing a deal with the Afghanistan government for Amo Darya exploration of oil. And this is kind of a slap in the face of Pakistan that this is what is happening in Pakistan, and there is a team of Chinese who are negotiating with Afghanistan. So China, we can fairly rule it out. Yeah, it will give. It might just roll over for 3 months, 4 months this repayment. It is more interested that IMF should give the first tranche so that China also gets some money back out of the $30 billion loan which now is on Pakistan. Okay, let's take Turkey. You know what's there in Turkey? Erdogan is the first prime minister of Turkey after Ataturk to have been schooled in a proper Islamic school. And therefore, what he did was he kept on, dishing out loans at very, very throwaway prices because, as per Islam, taking interest is considered as taboo. You can give a donation, but you should not take interest. Sood nahi lete hain. I mean, that's their one of the things. So he is of that school of thought. But what has it resulted in? Excess money, excess demand, no help coming, inflation high. Their economy is also not in a good state to bail out Pakistan. Let's come to Saudi Arabia and UAE. They have given 1 billion more, so Saudi Arabia, so it has become 3 billion. UAE had already given, but that's it. Beyond that, they have said that they will give, provided the IMF and the World Bank agree to give. So they have laid a condition that if the World Bank and the IMF agree to give loan to Pakistan, then they will think of increasing the loans. But loan economy, how much can you sustain in the long run? Ultimately, you have to pay the interest. So if you bulk of the money which is coming is going back for payment of interest, really speaking, you have nothing to spend.
54%, sir.
That's what I'm saying. You have nothing to spend. Now then, let's take US. Double-digit inflation. Economy projected to grow by only 0.5% next year.
वो भी कौन सा फिगर मैनिपुलेट करा है पता नहीं सॉरी बट
I'm just saying 0.5% gun culture in abundance there. They are finding out aging population. They are also in a bad state. And that is one of the reasons why they are now thinking of pulling out of the Ukraine war slowly and gradually. They have denied the jets, even the tanks, probably they may do a rethink. Even the Germans are possibly giving them the older version of the Leopard tank, which
लेपर्ड
they have.
वंस.
That's what I'm saying. Because Germany itself had stopped producing. In fact, you remember long time back when they told that they are going to give something to Ukraine, they gave some old helmets, and Ukraine said, thank you very much. We don't require helmets. Now let's come to Europe. Europe itself is in a crisis of its own. Of course, their inflation figures have come down this week. But they are still in double digit.
Hmm.
So everybody is grappling with a global economic recession. जब सब अपनी नाव ही बचाने में लगे हैं, तो दूसरे की नाव कौन बचाएगा?
वो भी
वो भी
पाकिस्तान.
ऐसे देश, वो भी ऐसे देश की जिसमें कि people are, I mean those in power, elite, they are not ready to actually even keep their vagabonds shut. एक हाथ में कुरान और एक हाथ में atom bomb. Let's attack Sweden. Are all the problems will be solved? And Pakistan, mind you, Pakistan army, I rate them professionally very high as far as operational and tactical things are concerned.
Hmm.
But at this level, at the level of international diplomacy, at the level of international relations, I think Pakistan is put the civil government in front, and they are just the army generals are nowhere to be seen. I pity Shahbaz Sharif the way I mean, I don't even. I really feel bad for him. His face is shown in the media as though he's about to cry,
हर जगह पे सर.
and everywhere they're flashing his photographs. Where are these guys who dictated terms to them throughout? I think what we are going to see in Pakistan, if things don't pan out the way, at least this, you see what is going to happen is market rate, the entire thing has to be market rate driven. Moment it is market rate driven, the cost will go more, the prices will go higher, inflation will further go higher. You will get the things, but you will be at a massive cost. People, there would be an unrest. In an unrest, in a chaotic, in an anarchic situation, where will the people move? Is $1 million question. And the first and the foremost thing which happens is the neighboring countries get flooded.
Yes sir.
Are we going to see a reverse migration to Afghanistan, to India, to Central Asian countries, and for that matter, even in India? Let the Chinese also face some music. So I'm trying to create a scenario which may look very, very, I would say,
Fantastic.
uh, yeah, I know. Also, it may look that it is not a feasible scenario, but it may happen.
Hmm.
And anarchy can do anything. Let me tell you, Gilgit-Baltistan is already crying anti-Pakistan. POK is already having voices which are coming up which are anti-Pakistan. We're not even talking of Balochistan, which is dead against. If any region which can cede the first, it would be Balochistan. And here lies our opportunities, what we need to do with this kind of a thing. They were hoping that Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan would get controlled by Afghanistan, and what has happened? I mean, look at the the blast which took place in Peshawar, crossing the 100 mark. I don't think such a severe blast has taken place in the last 2 3 years.
So this is close to that army school APS attack. I mean,
Absolutely, absolutely. It's really shattering. But as I was reading, I was seeing a news item. पेड़ बोया बबूल का आम कहाँ से होए? अगर बबूल का पेड़ आप लगा रखा है, तो हाउ विल यू गेट मैंगो?
Terrible, terrible, sir. That was.
So the answer, so the big question is, what for us? What should we do?
So, उस पे आते हैं. We will talk about that. That would be my last question. But how feasible do you think, sir? Because ऐसा है, point of no return पे you've reached at a point, boss. You'll have to. आपकी बात एकदम सही है. That realization नहीं है इनको. I don't think they're realizing what situation they are in. I think
Yeah,
we realize their situation. ये इतने बुरे हाल हैं इनके. We know it. The world knows it. I don't think Pakistan itself knows it. The plight of the common man on the road. I don't think उनको इतनी अकल है कि हो क्या रहा है सर. मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है सर कि ये जो कंट्रोल करके रखा हुआ है इन लोगों ने, दिस नैरेटिव को कंट्रोल करके रखा हुआ है कि सब कुछ ठीक है, हम लोग कर लेंगे. उनका फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर बोलता है भाई कुछ नहीं होगा, हम डिफॉल्ट नहीं करेंगे, कुछ नहीं होगा, ये नहीं होगा, वो नहीं होगा. जब सडनली एक दिन गिरेगा सर. The anarchy in Sri Lanka was slowly built up, so the pressure slowly built up and it exploded. Sir, यहाँ तो it'll build up in a day and it'll go boom. That's my only concern.
you see, there is a slight difference between, I mean, this is my opinion, I may be
Uh,
wrong. There's a slight difference between the Sri Lankan position and the Pakistani position. I personally rate that in Sri Lanka, the people of that country are not entirely driven by religious fervor. Okay, they they revolted or they came on the streets based on true economic pressures which they were feeling.
जी.
So the went in unidirection. There are no side vents which were there to blow the wind out of the sail. So it all went towards the prime minister. It went towards the president's bungalows, etc. So there was some kind of a streamlining of the pressure which was building on the government. That is not the case in Pakistan. In Pakistan, everybody knows where is the government, which is the face and which is the mask. There is this third, that triangle of mullah, militant, and military, or mullah, militant, and military. That triangle has got three-way walls. So mullahs are on their own. They have got a group of following which tries to do something very, very aggressive, and then they try to blow off a particular level of opposition which is there in the people. Then there are the civilian government who also have their own followers. They have their own following. So those are looking. I mean, those people are looking at the civil government that look, IMF, World Bank. These guys are coming. Things will settle down. And of course, they have this thing in their mind that they have been fed this narrative that ultimately military can solve their problems. So they are still waiting that okay, the military is not giving any statement, so therefore things are under control, and Pakistan will sail out of this. So my reading is that unless the military is unsettled itself, this countdown to anarchy will be taking that much longer, and not like in Sri Lanka, where the government was the real face and government got unsettled, and therefore everything went towards the government. Here there
Hmm.
are three powers which are there, and adding to the confusion is Imran Khan, who has his own set of players, and he says that do the elections fast, I will be able to sort out the problems.
With what, sir?
And despite that, today there was in the news that the Kashmir Day will be celebrated with as it was being done earlier. Are they learning the IMF's conditions? Many countries have told them that look, forget about Kashmir now. Focus on your own in-house. Focus on the economy. but it doesn't seem to be going into the head. So I think there is this feeling in the people mind that their military is in control, and military will be able to sort out this mess which they are in, and therefore the pressure cooker is still boiling inside, not as yet ripe enough to blast off. So this is the slight difference there. There are multiple vents of frustration, and those are being taken out by people from different directions. Ultimately, when will all these three converge? That will be the day when you will have an.
I think you made a very interesting point. Excuse me. You made a very interesting point that people have this belief that यार फौज बचा लेगी हमको. The belief on the Podge is very high. There is no question.
Very,
आपने बोला, you. This is, I think, very interesting. That's one of the
very.
reasons why I think Pakistanis are still very calm. There is no, I mean, there is some, obviously, there is some issues in the street, but वैसा नहीं है कि complete background law and order नहीं. They've got that respect for the Podge still, which is true,
Absolutely.
sir. But sir, now
The
इसका दूसरा flip side देखते हैं, sir. You're
बोलिए.
saying,
Yeah, बोलिए. Go ahead.
सर दूसरा फ्लिप साइड है. एक तरफ हम बात करें कि इनकी फौज को दे हैव टू रिड्यूस, सर. दूसरी तरफ लेट्स लुक एट टीटीपी फॉर अ मिनट, सर. एंड यू एंड आई हैव एक्चुअली डन मल्टीपल वीडियोस विद रिगार्ड्स टू टीटीपी, सर. काफी सारे
Yeah,
करे हैं.
yeah,
दी factor about TTP, the history about TTP. I mean, you've told us from Wali Masood to Pura.
yeah.
We've covered that. So anybody, guys, if you want to watch that, please do. Sir has got, I think, very in-depth knowledge of TTP that you can find. Now, TTP, sir, they are reportedly the operation as per the Pakistani army against the TTP is being fought on the border of Punjab, sir.
Absolutely. You see, about 2 weeks back, they had declared that they are not going to restrict themselves to Western borders. They are going to go across the Pakistan, and to do that, they had demonstrated a few blasts in Islamabad, etc. They did an attack there, so they have kind of displayed their capabilities that they can strike at will in Pakistan on whomsoever they want.
Hmm.
And the biggest symbol of that was, of course, they went back to Peshawar. But the fact is, what is the police? Police is there, the second rung symbol of security as far as Pakistan is concerned. And I think the next attack may come up on the military establishment. It's very much a feasibility which the TTP might do. And I'll tell you a few pointers to that. You see, Pakistan said that they won't mind going across and striking in Afghanistan
Hmm.
because all the bases of Pakistan, the TTP, are in Afghanistan. So I mean, I'm talking of the training bases and resource generation, etc. Plus, they are collecting 8% tax from government as well as non-government agencies. I'm talking of the Taliban Pakistan as
They
taxes, as
receive भी
taxes.
करें.
So who is ruling that part of the belt? Now, once you get money through the people, your inherent strength increases. Weapon system purchase is not a problem in that area. You have the weapons left back by the Americans. Who knows? The Afghanis maybe might as well supplying them with all the weapons which they want. So the heavier caliber weapons might now come up on the scene, and you would have some of the isolated areas of the army or army establishment also being attacked as a demonstration. See, the Baluchis could do it, and now they have shaken hands with the Baluchis BLA. TTP and BLA have now combined together. They are like a combined front. Now with these two factors joining in, and BLA's leadership has changed. It is no more that Purana wala leadership which believed in a low level insurgency, Dharam Yudh. They don't believe in Dharam Yudh now. They are also equally as volatile, as dangerous as the TTP. So, with these two dangerous entities holding hands for a common cause or for their individual causes, but common enemy. दुश्मन का दुश्मन दोस्त होता है. So
Hmm.
that is what they have done. These two combined have the capability to hurt the Pakistan army. Pakistan army only kept saying that they will go and strike across Afghanistan. They have not done so. So somewhere they find that there is a weakness, and obviously Pakistan army can't indulge in it now, given the fact that the IMF has given so much of restrictions on them. They will say, "Look, guys, you are spending money on things which are not required to be done." Okay, so that is one issue. So therefore, their borders are going to extend. They've already secured the western border. Let me tell you. Today itself, there was some attack. I think near border. I'm not very sure. I could not see the news in border area, which is Baluchi's forte. They are going to do a seesaw between themselves and push towards Pakistan, Punjab. They are not bothered that much about Sindh because Sindh is, as such, not a very pro-Pakistani public. So it is Punjab. If Punjab is unsettled, Pakistan is unsettled, or they will rule Pakistan. My sense is, this is again, I'm trying to build castles, that Imran and TTP might combine and get a government which is a pro-TTP type of government.
Yeah.
With the Pakistan army split into two, you remember there are hidden sharks around who have left the Pakistan army. ISI has virtually been split into two. Pakistani army, you have some underhand support for Imran Khan, which is quiet at this particular moment because of obvious reasons that the person who is there today at the helm is a pro Shahbaz man. So therefore, with all these factors kicking in, I have an opinion that one plus one two maybe uh, if there are elections held, it could be a Talibanization of Pakistan with Imran Khan as the front
Taliban
face
Khan.
front face of the government, like Afghan Taliban,
The Khan
and
of Taliban.
and Pakistan Army, I believe, gives basis to ISKP as a tit for tat because ISKP is against Afghanistan, Taliban, which has pissed off the Afghanis more. So there is this battle now. TTP being given basis by Afghanistan, Taliban, and ISKP being given basis by Pakistan. I think it's a bugger muddle which is happening there with the economic crisis being thrown as some kind of a wake up call for Pakistan. If it doesn't wake up now, it will never wake up. Sooner or later, I mean, the general has to come up and give a statement to steady the ship. If he does that, if he does that, and if he gives orders that okay, we are ready to meet the IMF conditions, I think Pakistan may stabilize.
A lot of
They
money
will,
from a lot of places will start coming in, sir.
yeah, yeah. Obviously, I mean, there are very many rich people, or they will start going out of the country to places where they have normally been going. You
May I
know,
clarify, sir? When you say stabilize means they will come back to life support system.
yeah. When I say stabilize means they'll be on ventilators, but
Ah,
you remember we had to export our gold, keep our gold as a reserve in 1991. I think that time our situation was equally, if not this bad, but it was bad, right? Uh, they are thousand times worse than that. But as you have a patient who is dying and if he's on the ventilator, sometimes he recovers from that. So the only chance which I see is that Pakistan Army General, the chief Asim Munir, does an in-house cutting of corners, gives the IMF that assurance that yes, we are ready to be curtailing our expenditure from 4.5 to 2.1 or 1.5. Some kind of statements are made; those become the ventilators, right? then they will see the actions on ground. That will be the second stage. The first stage is the Pakistan army has to say that we are willing to cut down our expenditure to 2 point or 1.5 or 2 or whatever the specific conditions which the IMF has done. Today it spends around 4.5. That becomes the first tick which the IMF may take and say, okay, we are moving towards that. The second could be that yes, we are ready to disclose our assets. That means Pakistan Army will not be an exception. The corporate called Pakistan Army will become a corporate which has to give out its annual statement. These are our assets, these are our income, these are our expenditure, this is how much we are having. Which is as of today it is zilch. It is nobody knows about it. Ki how much they have, how much do they control, how much of the economy is controlled by them. So therefore, in my view, these two three steps, when if Pakistan Army General Sahab tells, the situation may start coming back to I would say, like you said, life support system. But and if it is followed consistently on ground, of course, people also will have to bear here because the prices will be so, as such, they are very high. With a market-linked economy, it will become even more higher. So that portion has to be managed very carefully. Subsidies have to be removed. Imagine if you remove the subsidies, what will happen to Pakistan, people of Pakistan? Hospitals, electricity of the hospitals. There's so many things. Their metros stopped in between here.
पूरी लाइट चली गई सर फुल कंट्री went out of electricity.
Yeah, so there has to be some chipping in by the, and I feel the the person who can, I mean, the country which can, as of today, really do some help to them is the Saudi Arabians and the UAE. They might just ease out their pressure, but I don't see China stepping in a big way. I don't see China stepping in a big way. I don't see the US stepping in the big way. They will all go through the IMF route to see how much can the IMF shed or the World Bank can shed.
Sir, all
Even
that
if,
okay. I mean, I'm just sorry, but my ek, for me the main thing is that people will give the money. I mean, the world has enough money. Americans will print out and give it to them. That's fine. But sir, the mentality of Pakistan is not as per my this thing that they. I don't see them being serious about the problem. If you look at the army, sir, today, last week when the news of the IMF telling them, listen, you better bloody improve yourself, they fired some rocket test they did. They want
yeah,
to order some combat fighting vehicle from I think Turkey or something like that. They were planning to do. They're
yeah,
now planning to order some drones. I
correct.
don't. Do you think that there is a certain sense of seriousness? Because ये जो government भी है sir, this is also like as a lot of Pakistanis also say these are all ये सारे imported हैं. जहाँ कुछ होगा जहाज में बैठेंगे भाग जाएंगे यहाँ से.
Absolutely.
तो
Absolutely.
I mean the current army establishment you're saying is divided. So sir,
I think see whatever purchases which have come about could have also been a part of an old rollout plan which has gone through. Okay, they should have put a hold on to it. Let us see how they look at it now with the IMF's condition. Let us see how now they are going to behave. You see, earlier it was still in a very vague situation. People were still going to various countries to buy to beg for help. It is only once everywhere they found a wall that the situation has now come where Prime Minister had to give this statement. This was yesterday's statement. So
yes,
let's see, let's take it that till then there was this thing, Bonhami, that okay, yeah, we will sail through. Ishaq Dar said we are not. Ishaq Dar, the finance minister, said as late as few days back, we are not going to accept IMF's condition. So if
yeah,
that guy is not, if your finance minister is saying that we are not going to accept the IMF's condition, so who are the Pakistan army to be stopped? That okay, our finance minister is also echoing the same thing. Let's carry on with business as usual. And like I said, I made a statement right in the beginning. Pakistan Army is a professional army, good for operational and issues related to the military. When it comes to managing economics, when it comes to managing international relations, I think they need lessons, serious lessons. And these two, three examples which you are quoting are part of that, aberration which these people keep on doing it. Because obviously, like I said, I always keep saying that Pakistan army is ruling by proxy. It is still ruling, it's ruling by proxy. That's why the second statement was that until the General Saab comes up and says, we are ready to accept the IMF conditions with including the army being subjected to the austerity measures. And austerity measures would mean reducing your capital expenditure, reducing your revenue expenditure, getting your budget down to affordable limits. And in a situation like this, they should go the Sri Lanka way, uh, hopefully. Now, who can drum sense into Pakistan army? I don't know. Maybe the voices which are coming from our side would be able to help them see some sense. But I was quite upset when today they said that they are going to continue to celebrate the Kashmir Day and blah blah,
Yeah,
all these things. I think they need to seriously think over their problems. Right?
exactly my point, sir. The mindset is not changing. And lastly, sir,
Yeah.
as far as Pakistani army is concerned, sir, if it comes out, and again, I'm open to correction, especially from yourself and audience as well. Please, if you think I'm speaking something wrong, please correct me. But my gut feeling tells me that Pakistani army does not have it in itself to come out and say, "Boss, please audit us. We are ready to accept anything and everything."
Oh, okay.
Tell me
No,
the essence of Pakistani
I
army, sir.
agree that I agree that they will not come out in the open and say that audit us. It would be couched in a different manner. It would be said that every establishment of this country will go through an audit system. It may not. I mean, the you have the diplomatic ways of conveying what you want to convey. Also, it may show it in the budget as a policy statement that this much would be the percentage of expenditure. It will not say we are cutting down or something. I think there are ways and means to put down a positivity to the way. Of course, how far seriously they will observe it on ground is anybody's guess. It's like that making a militant alive after he was declared dead and told that he has been arrested so that the FATF thing is lifted from that FATF. They are lifted from grey list to white list. So something like that can also happen, but I don't think the situation is that simple now. I don't think. See, we are also of the same stock. Okay, I'm sure there are enough sane people there who would try to salvage the situation. Otherwise, Pakistan will be lost as an entity. Let me tell you, it will be first come first grabbing by the neighbors. Who grabs Pashtun? Who grabs Sindhis and POK and the Gilgit Baltistan? It'll be run for the neighbors to do what they want to do. So it may not be split into five parts. It may be split. It may get merged into five parts. With the Chinese also throwing their hat in for a competition for reasons which you know very well, because a lot is there for them at stake. So any possibilities are possible. So therefore, I think there will be a salvaging of situation. And the biggest card which I keep saying is that the nuclear thing here,
Hmm.
that the nuclear assets have to be safeguarded. So if there is an anarchy, we don't know what can happen. There was incidentally a news where I don't know how far it is true, but it has been doing a rounds of the news galiaras that one of the bombs is missing in Pakistan.
Oh,
And there was a frantic search on to find where it is. I'm just saying that whether it came out as a as a part of a some kind of a forum discussion in which there was no proof of this, so we let it be at that. But you never know; these are possibilities very much in the realms, and people have been talking about it even you know even before. I mean, right from last 20-30 years, that there is a danger of Pakistani bombs falling into hands of. So bomb is not a small thing, but never know. Pakistanis are known to have tactical nuclear bombs also, which are much lesser in size.
so let me tell you, the entire crowd, they were sending messages. Everybody just went silent hearing this thing.
No, I'm just saying that this is the kind of scenarios which can happen. The fact that people are sending these messages all over means that either an information war is at play by some vested interested people, or there is seriously something going wrong in that country.
This scares me,
I
sir.
don't think I have come across any statement of Pakistan Army chief in the last few days.
No,
So I am also quite worried कि क्या हो रहा है? Why is the country's most powerful man keeping quiet at this point in time and letting the Pakistani government puppet prime minister do the talking, where he's being projected as a very weak need person, and the way he's giving the statements also projects a person who has lost all hope, heavy heart, unbearable situation. We have to accept IMF conditions, as though IMF conditions are zahar, poison. So it's quite disturbing, yet very difficult to find how the ball is going to roll, or how the things are going to pan out. Very complex.
absolutely, sir. So let's take some questions from the audience. And guys, before I get into that, please like this video. I think some of you have actually mentioned, please like everyone. Whoever's here, just touch that like button, and whoever's going to be watching, please do that. It helps us reach a larger audience. Very critical for us to grow. There is a QR code here. If you want to help out Dev Talks, you can become members. You can send us super stickers or super chats. And don't forget to visit my website, thedevtalks.com. So the first question, we say, okay, which one is more appropriate in this? Jinnah's Pakistan, or is it Imran Khan's Naya Pakistan, or further is it Riyasat-e-Madina?
See, all three are not good here. It's anything which is based on any country which is based on religion per se, in my opinion, frankly speaking, has a very limited life. Yeah, you can have religion as your primary religion of the country, but that can't be the basis for power. That can't be the basis for formation. You have so many Muslim countries in the Arab world, right? But they are separate. They have certain basic conditions under which they have been formed. If you
Hmm.
say that you want to make it into a Riyasat-e Madina, then what you are implying is that Riyasat-e Madina means what was thought about by Prophet Muhammad. You should become like that. So for that, you must know for sure what were the uh, what were the principles under which Prophet Muhammad wanted a country to be or people to be governed. But can you make all that as a one country? Then you are going for a caliphate. And caliphate would mean the entire world is one, with everybody following the Islamic traditions, the best thing would have been I would put the Indonesian model as probably the best thing which Pakistan could have resorted. To me, that appears to be the best of the models amongst the entire Islamic world, where Malaysia to also to some extent,
Some extent,
the
yes.
Indonesia and Malaysia are a little more hardened as far as, but still they don't keep that as the basis of their country, right? That is not the basis of formation of Malaysia. Religion came later. Malaysia was already there. People
Yeah.
got converted to Islam.
And
Similarly,
they say that very openly. This is what it
yeah,
is. Our country is
yeah,
older than, yeah,
that's
correct.
right. If you
Mm.
want to make Pakistan, then possibly the better form would have been Sindhistan or Punjabistan or Pashtunistan. That would be a better model, I would say. If there are smaller countries existing in places like Europe, Kosovo, you name countries, which are as small as our cities, you can have them also based on, you can still follow the Islamic traditions and be based on the culture of the people there, be based on the type of people who are living there. They are Sindhis, they speak one language, they are possibly of the same cultural habits, so they will possibly gel better. You can have a Central Asian type of a model where CIR countries, which CIR countries which are together, some of them are landlocked, so they have to depend on the others to get their traffic flow out. My opinion is none of the three models, which is Jinnah was based on religion. Riyasat-e-Madina is also based on religion. And what was the third one? That
Name of
also,
Pakistan. I don't know. God knows
yeah,
what that was based on.
I,
So, if they reduce the army size, then they will turn into another Afghanistan question. I mean, they will have to deal with TTP, BLA, ISIS. They will all eat them alive.
okay. When we say reduce the army size, it doesn't mean only numbers. If you have an internal security problem, create an RR, yeah? A police force which is strong enough to deal with them. We have Rashtra Rifle with us. We are not fighting the terrorists within the country. Within the country, there is a specialized force which has been created. Yes, it is. It is. People go on deputation from the army. That's fine, but then their tactics, their entire operational philosophy is different.
Different. Hmm.
Earlier, we used to do it. Then we realized that this is not a good model. You take the northeast, we have a SAM rifle. Okay, so the expenditures are going to be much lesser. In our country, for the internal security, we just spent 0.7% of the our defense equivalent of the defense budget. So you have to cut down the expenditure in a manner that whatever is your security challenges are taken care of. We don't go using tanks against terrorists. You go using tanks and aircraft and what have you. You bomb the hell out of them with drones. Have we used drones to bomb any of our terrorists? Never. I think it's a soch. You can reduce expenditure. You have to deal with your security problems. For that, you need. Why do you think the Americans went against it? The aid which was given 6 billion long time back after the first Mujahideen war went into buying aircrafts against India?
Hmm.
And then they questioned them, we had given this for you to stabilize the situation on your western front where a lot of mujahids were, a lot of refugees were staying of Afghanistan. They had to be rehabilitated and sent back to Afghanistan. उसमें तो तुमने खर्च किया नहीं. Counter insurgency, security, counter terrorism, उधर तो you didn't spend. You spent your entire aid which was coming towards building your military against India. And it is a known fact that India never attacks first.
Hmm.
It has told this as far as even its nuclear policy is concerned, second strike, it has historically been there, not from now, even pre-independence. Yeah, we defend, but aggression, proactively, I don't think we have ever done. It's only when we have been pushed to the wall that we have undertaken some steps. So where was this? Everybody understands, Yeah, in those days, India was not very favored as far as the US and the others were concerned. So therefore, they kept on supporting the Pakistanis, as Dr. Jaishankar says. I mean, you don't hesitate from supporting a dictatorial government at that point in time. I think they are also equally party to
Responsible.
it. They're
Hmm.
responsible for all this what has happened. So you can reduce the budget very very carefully, but you need to restructure your entire security paradigm
So,
so that you focus it on your problems and not on imagined problems, not on problems which may occur in the future. Keep doing that slowly here. We've
so
never
why?
gone beyond 2%. We have never gone beyond 2% in our history. Sometimes we may have touched 3% during the war period. But other than that, our budget has been generally fluctuating between 1.5 to 2.5.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So why isn't there more domestic unrest in Pakistan? If this was India, there would be chaos. So what is the magic power holding the unrest back in Pakistan, and how long can it do so?
Just say again, I missed the.
So he's saying, why isn't there more domestic unrest in Pakistan? If this was India, there would be chaos. So what is the magic
Absolutely.
power holding the
I
unrest back
think,
in Pakistan?
yeah, I had answered this question in my when I was covering my view on Pakistan. They have these. I told you, no, that in my view there are two, three events which these guys have. There are mullahs who are very, very followers of mullah who are very, very uh, cutter in their approach. So therefore, for them, even apocalypse will also not deter them from their aim. So for them, even if they don't get food till the time they achieve their aim of attaining shahadat or achieving victory in Kashmir or whichever place they want to, they will continue to fight. So for them, food is immaterial, and these are the guys who keep getting donations from all over. Those are not accounted for in the economy, so they are at rest. I mean, if you see all these mullahs establishments, masjids, etc., they get donations, and where do they get the donations from? And these are unaccounted donations. So they are getting their piece of bread and cake. Yeah.
Qatar, Saudi Arabia. Hmm.
Take the third elite. For them, it doesn't make a difference if it is 250 or 300. They have enough in their. Why do you think IMF has said declare your assets to all the elites? It's because of this reason that they have the money to buy even if the dollar goes by 250, 260, or the prices of fuel go at 255, 265. Doesn't make a difference. So that leaves the minuscule of the people who are the common public. Now the common public is divided as of now, or confused, or they are waiting for that military. And I said that till the time military doesn't show any fluttering of their wings, I think people are still hoping like hell that Asif Munir will sort out the problem. So there is going to be a delay, but hoga, when it happens, it will be very, very massive.
Indeed,
The
sir.
people have still not. There is a concept in social revolutions which is called free riders. Mostly the middle class is a free rider.
Hmm.
You know what is free rider? He knows that the cause is worth rising up and revolting against,
Okay, 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 okay.
but he will not stand up. Who stands up are generally the lower class.
Lower class, the
So they
worker
have
class.
nothing to do. When they come up on the streets, it is then that then the so-called free riders, the fence sitters, you can call them any name you want to call them, Then they start jumping. The tipping point of the fence sitter hasn't come up. It will come up when the military starts fluttering there.
Amay says that comment on Sweden is going to hurt them very much. Now they can virtually forget about any sympathy from the West.
Yeah, to see, Pakistan has a very good way of explaining things. They will again put this particular statement as in one of aberration where a person who has his own view, he has no standing. I mean, so there'll be these kind of statements which will come up. Although, mind you, nobody has denied it till now. I mean, nobody has condemned it till now in Pakistan. So probably people are thinking that dust will fall on this particular issue and people will forget about it. I don't think Pakistan is really realizing at this moment what is the damage this kind of a statement can cause to them, uh, unless unless the IMF loan is. I think they've started banking that we will get the IMF loan. So maybe that is one of the reasons why this
Yes.
damage thing also may not play up that much
Ji, ji, ji. I
because
mean,
it did not lead to any violent actions in Europe as such. Nobody
as
has
such,
got
yeah.
motive.
Hmm.
Nobody has got motive. See, the call of Pakistani mullahs are not international. Pakistani mullahs standing internationally is not that much as compared to say ISK, ISIS or Al Qaeda. These guys have a much more wider global fan following where lone wolves can do some attacks in these countries, European countries especially. So there is a slight bit of a difference. Had this call probably come from, say, Osama bin Laden few years back, there would have been few odd killings in Europe.
Indeed. So John says General Singh is strong form tonight. No challenges possible. Just a lighter comment.
What? What did he say?
General Singh is in strong form tonight. No challenges are possible. Lighter comment, sir.
That is not the thing. You see, first of all, we have browbeaten this issue of Pakistan so much that I think by now everybody's everybody has become a expert on it. But it is not so simple. It's going to be very complex situation in the future. I feel my opinion is that we should wait and watch. We should keep our house intact. We should keep our guard up. We should keep our economy going well. We are lucky that we have a domestic demand of about very high domestic demand of about 700 odd million middle class, which has been lifted from poverty. I mean, income between 5 lakhs to 30 lakhs is a huge plus which has happened to our country. I think we need to secure all these, keep ourselves. आपने देखा है ना मुर्गी जो अपने बच्चों को बचा के रखती है.
Ji,
I
ji.
think we have to be as of now like this and be ready to spring into action because defensively you cannot be secure. You must have that aggressive intention in you to seek the to defend yourself, to keep the war away from your shores. So I
Absolutely.
think that's our approach, which is important.
Absolutely. I think you've also covered this question. It was an interesting question, but this is pretty much the same answer. Do you think India should do something about Hindu population in Sindh? I think I would recommend the entire. You've also written Sikhs and stuff like that. So call it a minority population. Lack of resources would mean that they would first target. They would be the first target when things blow up. Where we are talking about a million such people.
Absolutely. No, this is a problem which everybody understands. And mind you, a few years back, we had this law which came about, about citizenship, etc. Remember?
Yes,
So
yeah.
at that point in time, as far as the minorities are concerned, I think we would invoke those rules as far as the minorities in Pakistan are concerned. As such, most of the minorities have run away from Pakistan. I mean, I have had the opportunity to stay in America and Canada, and I found that. Most of the Christians are not there in Pakistan. When I used to talk to them, they said that we found the conditions absolutely unlivable. We had to come out. Similarly, you have the other minorities which are there. Baluchis, a large number of them have gone out of Pakistan. They are living in Canada, America. So it will be more of the Muslims who've gone from India and I'm talking of the Muhajirs, Ahmadiyas. These are the people who will be targeted very badly. And I think we need to be careful when they are coming into our side that we do not invite the militants also along with them so that they start sorting us out. So we have to be little aggressive here, little uh, not so inviting. Let me put it this way: we should be catering for humanitarian aid, but with a due precaution and diligence, so that our security is not compromised.
Absolutely. Sir, was the Peshawar attack really a suicide bombing or a drone strike by the ISI? Even the neighboring houses have been demolished completely by that blast. Is it possible by a suicide bombing itself?
Uh, Look, as far as the drone angle is concerned, I would not like to comment because I have not really studied it. Yes, I knew that the blasts were too heavy and the damages were very massive. Whether it was done by a suicide bomber, one, two, we don't know. He could also have had a he could have also had a possibly additional explosives with him, a bag full or something like that, which detonated along with him. One is that you have a belt, plus you could also have sympathetic detonations taking place with, and maybe there are two, maybe there are more than one suicide bomber. We don't know. So the details are not known to us, so we can't really comment. If it was a drone attack, why should ISI do drone attack on its own people? And if it is ISIS which has done it, that is, I mean, then the ISI is not really worth it because ISI is giving basis to ISIS. So TTP, like I said in my earlier, in my talk before, that it might be getting hold of bigger weapons, and then drones could be a possibility. But even drones have a limited. The TTP couldn't have taken an armed drone, right? It would be a very small drone, which would have the capability to pick up some amount of explosives and then destroy it. So. So I don't think there is this angle of drone as of now. If it was there, then it would be pretty obvious. It would be pretty obvious. Uh, the way explosion takes place from a top down and explosion from a bottom up. We have to study all that to identify whether it was a drone attack or only suicide attack or a multiple suicides attack. But strapping of explosive on a body cannot be much. Could he have carried additional bags with him? We don't know. And could it be that there were more number of people involved? Again,
Also, this is, I mean, I might sound like a conspiracy theorist. The only reason ISI would probably look the other way to something like that is just so that they don't have to reduce their army. I mean, it's a conspiracy theory. I don't have any proof, but
see, we
knowing
are too
what,
simple. We are too
yeah,
simple to go up to that levels.
hmm,
Pakistan does blame us that we conducted the attack on Pathankot on our own and this and that. But I don't think we should apply the same medicine to them. It
hmm,
was a proper TTP attack
yeah,
which took place. It was a suicide bombing. The damage was definitely exceptionally very high. Normally, it would not come from one suicide bomber unless he was loaded with it in a manner. But how could he have then entered the masjid with a loaded, so much of explosive on him? My take is that he may have carried it in a bag, which was linked to his detonation. That if he detonates himself, that bag would also get detonated. So
replace.
over a period of time, or in the last few hours, he may have stacked up few weapons at various places, few explosives at various places in that particular complex, and interconnected their explosion or linked their explosion with his own explosion. So when he exploded himself, the others would have gone also. That is possible. With today everything being remotely controlled, that's not a big issue. Okay, so he has to just press 1, 2, 3, 4, and he himself would have also gone off.
Hmm.
So
Now,
possibility, yes, he may have had more accomplishments. They placed their other explosives here and there, and then the main man who was to detonate everything would have done that. Possible. Uh,
we we
drones. I haven't read it anywhere, and neither did I get any report as such. So I'm not very sure. But
the size
possibility.
of the blast, I mean, mind-boggling. There's no question about it. When you see those photographs, it's
Yeah,
oh,
yeah. And it's a it's a good question. When I heard this news, I thought, how come so much of a damage? So I had also been wondering. So my theory was that, like what I told you, that maybe there were multiple people or there were other accomplishers along with him who had placed the bomb at few places and walked out after the masjid, after the prayer. And this guy exploded himself along with those remotely. Very much possible.
but ये तो sir वो he came in army uniform now. He came in fatigues, police
Yeah,
or
yeah,
army, I think police
yeah, yeah.
uniform.
Obviously, he has to come in that only. Even the others would have come in that kind of a uniform, placed their bag there and gone.
Yeah, yeah. Sir, don't you think IMS is in Pakistan to assess the situation when USA would indulge to safeguard the atomic bomb rather than monetary support? Because now USA understands how the world is not going to bear the cost of Pakistan, sir.
See, the US is already at it. US safeguarding the nuclear assets is very much there on the card. It's part of their priority one activity. How much of it they are able to do now, I am not very sure, because I don't think they have as yet agreed to give the bases also. Although
Mhm.
Anthony Blinken has been at it for quite some time, but the CIA remains active. CIA remains active in Pakistan. It has the deep roots in Pakistan. So therefore, I'm sure the Americans are doing something about the security. That news item which came in the blip somewhere in the social media about the missing Luke, I don't know whether it was correct or not. But like they say, if there is smoke, there is something to it.
There's no smoke without fire.
Yeah, so maybe it is a kind of a tactical nuclear bomb which may be unaccounted for, या कहीं इधर उधर चला गया होगा. That could be the reason why that thing came into the. And I also feel that could also be the reason why the military is keeping quiet of late.
Mhm.
But there is nothing come about. There's no confirmed evidence to the fact that something like this has happened. It was just a blip of a news item. No, it was not even a news item. It was some kind of a report.
Let me dig into it more also. बैठ के जरा थोड़ा सा
Yeah. I
investigation
saw
करते हैं.
it somewhere. I saw it somewhere. Then we started asking for evidence. So evidence was not forthcoming. So maybe it was just a kind of a rumor. That's all.
People are saying, sir, please don't give us sleepless nights. पाकिस्तानी है तो इंडिया पहला टारगेट होगा.
No, not really. Not really. I think as of now, they are looking at Talibanization of Pakistan. Pakistan is becoming their next laboratory for becoming another Afghanistan. So this
Yeah,
is my view. This seems to be my, and then they would attempt the Kashmiri. You see,
entrance.
they're going very systematically. Maybe it is Pakistan is becoming the next laboratory of Taliban.
Like I always say, sir, Pakistan should not collapse because collapsing Pakistan is going to be
Yeah. The
a very
only saving grace about Pakistan is that the Punjabis might still prevail given their resilience and keep control of at least major portions of Pakistan this side of Indus and give her the buffer state. I mean, I would look at it that way. Give her the buffer state, right?
indeed.
Yeah. So we need a buffer state between the great game theater of ours, which has taken three superpowers along with it. We
One
need that buffer.
superpower
We
out of
need
which
that
one
buffer.
out of which one superpower didn't want to fight. It was just sitting there for 20 years
No,
and
no,
never.
no, no. The fourth one is in the waiting. Chinese are they have just
Ah,
started going, but they fortunately fight with economy. None, they don't fight with military assets. So they are becoming very active now in Afghanistan.
I
They
I
are.
I said this on
I
my
think
channel. I think we should roll out the red carpet for them. Ow, ow, ow. Jaldi आओ.
yeah, yeah,
Sir, thank you so much. This has been awesome. I mean, trust me, there's so many comments here telling the factor about the straightness of how you've explained this. Because at the end of it, it's a volatile situation, and nobody can for definite say. Uh,
absolutely. I'm
wo-
I'm myself lost.
yeah, I mean, there's no question. I mean, there's a person who's asking. Kaiser Rashid says, why is there so much lawlessness in Pakistan? I mean, an opposition minister is arrested anytime, anywhere. Exactly. I mean, it's a very fluid situation as what you're saying, and the way that you've put it across is really insightful because it gives us a fair idea of what Pakistan needs to do.
Yeah,
Whether it's going to do it or not, it's a whole different discussion altogether. Whether the army generals are going to come and say, "Bhai, मेरे पास uh, 1 billion वहां पड़ा है, 500 million यहाँ पड़े हैं," and whatever it is, it's a different story altogether. That's what is needed to be done. Whether it'll happen, I think Sir will also bet his money on it, and I am also ये होगा नहीं कभी.
I'm I'm
It
I'm hopeful that the budget will get cut. I think that would be the first step. Declaring of assets may take some time, but
sometime
the budget cuts may take place.
budget cuts might take place, and then they will create. There will be quite a lot of chaos. The factor that Sir has brought out very interestingly, sir, and if I may, आपने एक चीज बोली थी कि the mindset of Pakistan.
Yeah.
ये सोच नहीं सकते ये लोग तो फिर how is it going to move forward? Uh, I wonder if you include the army in it. And because the army also has factions, so if one faction says, okay, I'm going to come out and declare, the other guy will say, screw you, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, the only thing which I now feel is that because he's a Mullah General, Asim Munir is the Mullah General. So there may be a little more hardcore orders which have been passed, something like what happened during the Zia time, Ziaul Haq time. So the people may not be so forthcoming to oppose him. That is one reason why the army has been kept under lids and not many statements are coming out. Maybe threatening of short of threatening, everything else must have been done to ensure that the army remains stable and steady. Sometimes the army generals have a habit to say, "Look, the country is going through chaos. Okay, we are the only people who have the wherewithal to keep the country stable. So let's not panic and let's show a very kind of a stable, composed face so that the country gets an assurance that nothing will happen to Pakistan." And that could be one of the reasons why the Pakistan army is not coming out with any statement. They're showing a very composed demeanor. They are carrying out their activities, like you said. They procured whatever they had to procure as a symbolic thing. उन्होंने कर लिया वो सब चीजें. तो उससे क्या हो रहा है कि एक मैसेज गई है कि look, things are okay. It's only an economic problem. Sooner or later they will find a solution. देश कैसे खत्म हो सकता है? How can a nation just collapse? That too, Pakistan. That too, an area which ruled entire Hindustan. कैसे खत्म हो सकता है? आप समझ रहे हो what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah, yeah. It's a very
It's a big
deep.
statement. It's a
Mm,
big statement, and that's the mindset which is different from Sri Lanka.
it's a very deep statement. So there's a thought process, and there's a. I think
I've read their history books. That's why I'm telling you. I
it's a
was
mind.
amazed. I was amazed to see the history books. They cover from Golconda down to Afghanistan border.
Tells you their mindset actually.
Absolutely.
Tells you their mindset. So, I mean, it's what you said right now is quite profound because they consider themselves to be racially superior, uh,
Absolutely.
religiously superior. Uh,
Yep.
as people, they consider themselves to be superior as just human beings because they
Stronger,
apparently,
superior.
yeah,
That's the way they have been built into. I mean, that's what has been built into their psyche. Despite losing 4 times, they say that we lost only 3 times. They still justify that they did not surrender. Only 33,000 people surrendered. It's it's very difficult for them to digest that something can go wrong with Pakistan.
on that note, sir, thank you so much once again. I mean, it's always insightful to talk to you. Our last video, people were really happy with the way that you've explained stuff. I'm sure this one is going to do even
Thanks,
better, and the comments are
thanks,
going to
Adi.
be great. I know
Thanks,
you're
Adi.
traveling.
Yeah, I was in travel, but it is a freewheeling discussion. I think it's more fun this way.
हाँ sir. नहीं, but still to take out time and kind of have the discussion. Thank you so much. And for the next time for another insightful discussion with General Dushyant Singh. Stay tuned to Dev Talks and sir, Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.